I just found out terrible news. I just checked Twitter and I got absolutely. This was posted hours ago, but I didn't see this until now in the trending page.
Oh no.
Apparently, Hugh Jackman lost out on the lead role. The co-starring role in Miss Congeniality.
Oh.
He auditioned for the Benjamin Bratt role in Miss Congeniality, and like, man, if Hugh Jackman was in Miss Congeniality, I would like that movie even more than I already do.
Who do you lose out to?
Benjamin Bratt.
Oh, you just said that. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. What else has he been in?
He's a you know him if you see him.
Oh, okay. Okay. In that case, let me Google. Hold on. Yeah, I saw that on trending, but I've never.
Have you ever seen Miss Congeniality?
No. Oh, I do recognize this guy.
Yeah, if you know him when you see him. He's a good actor too. No problem or anything. But he's not Hugh Jackman. Like, oh my god, Hugh Jackman would have been so good in that role too. I'm gonna check if Miss Congeniality is on HBO Max because it's a good movie. Yeah, it's really good.
Is it a musical? In my head, it's a musical.
It is not.
Okay.
But it's like that's like peak Sandra Bullock. Peak Sandra Bullock.
Oh, Sandra Bullock was in a movie.
It's on HBO Max. Yes. Put it on the dock for December. We're doing Miss Congeniality. Oh, it's so good.
It's incredible. Was Sandra Bullock in Girl Interrupted? Who was in Girl Interrupted?
I've never seen Girl Interrupted.
I haven't either, but it was filmed in Mechanicsburg.
I don't think she is though. Isn't that
It's Winona Ryder and Angelina Jolie.
Winona Ryder and Brittany Murphy and Elizabeth. Wow. Stacked roster.
It is, and it was from Mechanicsburg, so.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
I really want to see it just to see if I recognize places. I know, like, one of the subs in school, he was like an extra in it or something. Or he was in, I think he had a line. But yeah, I've never seen it. Oh, yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah. I already told you about the Neil Flynn Robin Hood.
Neil Flynn, he played the janitor
Robin
in
Hood?
Scrubs.
No. Or Errol Flynn, not Neil Flynn.
Okay.
Errol Flynn. I got him confused. Neil Flynn, yes, he was the janitor in Scrubs. Really funny comedian. He's also got his own show now with it's a family show. It's not his show.
Oh, yeah.
The Middle?
I think so. I think I remember that from the Wikipedia page.
But no, Errol Flynn Robin Hood. Familiar?
No.
Oh, it's like the classic Robin Hood movie. It's like what every Robin Hood movie like the green Robin Hood tights with the weird hat with the feather. Mm-hmm. That's Errol Flynn.
Oh, okay. Got it.
That movie was shot in Bidwell Park, which I used to live like a block away from Bidwell Park. So, yeah.
Oh,
we watched that movie in like high school, and yeah, we walk around Bidwell Park and this is where this is the Sherwood Forest or whatever it's called.
This is the Sherwood Forest. Oh, that's awesome. That's sweet. It's how I've been ever since I've been back from London. Like anytime London comes up and something, like I've been there. Like especially, I love it. It's great. It's like, oh, it exists. I know it exists because I sat there.
Like, oh, Big Ben? Yeah, I know him.
Big Ben, yeah. I didn't realize. Yeah, it's great. Like during the whole like, God rest her soul, Queen Elizabeth II funeral, the Westminster Abbey is like, oh, I stood there. I was there. I love that stuff. I love it. It's like you're in on an inside joke that everyone else knows. It's great. I love it. Okay, I'll start the episode, I guess. Okay. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of HBO Max. I'm your host, Makenna. Joining me as always is Brandon. How are you today, Brandon?
Yeah, just It's just another day doing the max.
Yeah, the max.
For people behind the scenes, we refer to this podcast as the max.
The max. It makes me laugh every single time. It's great. It's like we're, I don't know, in the industry or something. It's like, oh, hear about the max.
Yes, I will like once a week message Makenna. Can you do the max? What's that? What day's good to do the max?
It's great. It's like, oh, I feel like we're like big boy professionals when we do that. We're like we got like chairs with their names on the back or something, you know?
You can put the name on the back of your chair if you want to.
I could.
Nobody's stomping you.
I mean, I could. I don't have any like good tape though.
Well, you know, that's a project for later.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. That is true. This episode, we're rounding out Spooky Month.
Spooky month. The 3-week spooky month.
3 weeks. We were so scared that second week. We just, you know.
One of the episodes was so scary it had to get locked in the HBO Max vault.
It's like the Disney vault. It might be released again. Well, technically it can't be. Never mind. This we did The Fly.
The Fly.
The Fly. And you know what should get shut in the vault? The Fly. But you know, more on that later.
1986 is The Fly.
1986, yes. With
the David Cronenberg Fly.
With Jeff Goldblum. The bucket's covering Mr. Goldblum.
His head's poking out.
Okay, cool. The Funko Pop's also sticking out between the cotton candy and the coffee, the Premier League coffee right there. He's hanging in there. He's scared of the Fly, so you know.
Have you made any of the Premier League coffee?
No, it's still closed. It's grounds, so I don't know how to do that.
Well, grounds is easier to do than if they sent you whole bean coffee.
How does one make coffee with the grounds?
The coffee has to be grounds to make coffee. Makenna.
Okay. Yes.
You can't make coffee out of whole bean coffee.
Okay. Okay. And then what do you do? So you got the grounds.
Well, do you have a coffee maker? Do you have a?
I have a Keurig.
Okay. Okay. So with the Keurig, you can buy the reusable pod that you fill up with coffee grounds and then put it in there.
Mm-hmm.
But what I would recommend doing, do you have like a tea kettle?
I can find one.
Okay. Well, so you either get a coffee maker or what I prefer is, I mean, you could do French press. French press is really, really easy. You just got to boil water.
Oh,
or then you do, I like a pour over.
Ooh.
But yeah, you put the coffee filter in the thing, you fill it up with, you can look up the ratio about like how many ounces to how much water you're going to do. You fill that up. You do a little pour over. If you're going to do the pour, just Google how to do a pour over. French press, you literally just, you put the coffee grounds at the bottom of the French press, you top it off with water, let it sit for 4 minutes, and then push the plunger down. Super easy to do. Just get a French press.
Okay. Christmas is coming up, so you know.
And then you can drink your Premier League coffee.
Premier coffee in my Premier League mug that is not in shot. It's back there.
Don't your parents have a coffee maker, or are they also rocking the Keurig?
They're also rocking the Keurig. There might be one in the garage. I don't know. My grandma has one.
Good. The Keurig is not good. It's bad coffee. The Keurig, not good.
I usually make tea. I just use it for tea because it's faster than.
Fair enough.
Doing the tea bag and stuff. But my grandma has an actual legit coffee maker. She breaks it out during Christmas, so I'll ask her.
Christmas, bring over the Premier League coffee.
Mm-hmm. For all of my soccer-loving relatives, of which I am the only one. At least on that side of the family. Other side of the family, the kids love the soccer.
Will the World Cup still be going on during Christmas?
I think it ends the week before. Like the 20th, I think. And then we're like right back into Boxing Day matches. Like they go straight back into leagues, which sucks for them. But they're super athletes. Do you think Holland is playing this weekend? Because he got injured.
I don't know anything about that match. I don't know.
He's on the cutoff for Fantasy Premier League.
Right. He got hurt a bit, huh?
Yeah, it was like he had like a fever and like something with his foot, and they were going to assess him during training today. But every time I've looked up any articles It's all from before training.
I mean, yeah, this episode's coming out after that's already happened, so the audience will know whether or not Erling Haaland played. But
the state of my fantasy Premier League team.
Yeah, but I mean, I would just start him. I mean, the guy scores like 4 goals a game, so just like
it'll be
start him anyway.
Yeah, I will.
Like, you're just gonna replace him with a guy who's not going to score a goal. So
I also don't have another frontman, so I can't think of what they're called.
You're gonna put in Havertz?
Oh no,
actually he did just score a goal.
I transferred him. I transferred him for Holland. So yeah,
I don't know how fantasy soccer works. Mm-hmm. Like, can a player be on multiple teams?
So this is what I'm learning over time. So you get a set amount of money at the beginning of the season, and then you buy your players. So people can have, essentially, everybody could have the same team. Like, if you don't, there's not like a limit.
That at all.
That's what threw me off when I first started.
Everybody has Erling Haaland?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Everybody has
100%, and that's why I'm so freaking far down at the bottom of the table.
He is looking like possibly the greatest scorer in the history of the sport.
Yeah,
like
he did see
everybody.
A lot of points.
Yeah,
he got me 26 points last week because I also have him as captain. So like if you have a player as a captain, their points double.
Oh, so it's sort of like daily fantasy.
Maybe, and there's also like
not into this at all. I don't like this.
Weird. I had to read a lot of articles.
There's enough teams that there shouldn't be a problem with filling out, or like if without like, because that's how it is in fantasy football. Like once one person has the player, nobody else gets the player.
Right, and that's
like
how
if you did that in fantasy football, it would be so boring.
It would be. See, that's what threw me off when I first started, and why one of the reasons why I'm so far behind everyone else is because I took players that like I took Matt Turner. He hasn't played a single Premier League match. He's played like Europa League, but he hasn't played a Prem match. And then I took like Smith Rowe, which I mean he's one of my favorite players, but he's got injured a ton in the beginning of the season and is injured out, and he's out to after the World Cup. And like I took like lesser known players, and then everybody else has taken the better players, and now I'm sitting 39th out of 41.
I mean, it seems like everybody would just end up with basically the same rosters.
Yeah. Let's see. The top of the. Let me see the dude who's in first place in my league. He scored. Oh, I scored 10 more points than him. But he's sitting at 773, and I'm sitting at 563. So, you know. That Holland really set me behind. But yeah.
My fantasy football team is really good. I just had the last 2 weeks, a couple little things have gone wrong, and I've ended up losing.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But, you know, that happens. That's the sport, you know?
Yeah. Oh,
the sport of fantasy football.
That is, don't worry. I grew up, my father... One of the first keys I learned of the keyboard was F5 to refresh the fantasy football page.
All my sleepers are really paying off so far this year. I picked up Rashad Stevenson and Damian Pierce in the draft. Both have turned into great starting running backs. I'm just sitting on the bench. They're on the bench. I got these guys on the bench, and they do great. I got a great team. My team is really good. But that's besides the point. We're talking about the Fly.
That's right. We are talking about the Fly. And that's your sports segment of the day. The Fly. I'll go into the facts and figures. It was released August 15th, 1986. Budgeted $9 to $15 million. Box office $60.6 million. It won an Oscar for Best Makeup.
Deservedly so.
I was just gonna say, I was gonna say the same thing, but I couldn't remember how many syllables was in deserving to deserve that word that you just said.
Deservedly?
Yes. So thank you. It has a sequel from 1989. Have you ever read the synopsis for the sequel?
I sort of know what happens in the sequel, but yeah, I've never watched it because I've heard it's terrible.
Bonkers. Eric Stoltz is in it, wasn't he supposed to be Marty McFly? And then like, nah.
Yeah, he's not, and he's in Pulp Fiction, which we did.
That's right. That's
Yeah, he's
It's
the
HBO
drug
Max.
dealer in Pulp Fiction.
Look at that. It's all connected. It's weird. I mean,
Yeah,
I didn't watch it, but
it's a wild ass movie.
yeah. And I think the only person that came back for it was the guy,
Yeah,
that one guy,
what's
the ex-boyfriend,
John Getz.
John Getz, yes. And even then, that was like towards the end or whatever. Yeah. Weird synopsis. Read it. 2015, there was a 5-issue comic book series following the sequel of The Fly. And then there's also, in 2008, a loosely based opera composed by Howard Shore, who composed The Fly, was performed. I watched a little bit of it. It was an opera. I couldn't understand any of it. But, and then there were a few canceled projects. In the 90s, Gina Davis's then husband was going to direct an alternate sequel in the 90s. And then in 2003, for a 2006 release, Todd Lincoln was going to make a second remake. Or I guess, second remake.
It would be a remake of the remake.
Remake of the remake, yeah. And then Cronenberg was going to do a sequel. In 2012, he talked about it, and then that was really the last.
Yeah,
time
I'm glad he hasn't done that. He's done a lot more interesting things since then.
Jeff Goldblum did say in 2018 that he would be interested. Wait, let me read you the Goldblum quote.
Why would there? If you're going to do a sequel to The Fly, why would Jeff Goldblum be involved?
Oh. It's a Jeff Goldblum quote.
Okay.
Let me find it. Okay. He said, let me find the quote. Okay. I don't think my character would be involved because, of course, I got tragically mutated with the fly and then the machine. Oh boy, but maybe I show up as a grandchild of the original Seth Brundle, or Seth Brundle had a brother. Had a brother that emerges in some ways? Who knows? I don't know, but David Cronenberg was a thrill to work with. Boy, if he was involved, I'd like to work with him again. I'll tell you that. I love Jeff Goldblum.
Okay, but why hasn't he worked with Cronenberg on any other movie? Like, will he only work on him with Fly project? Because, Cronenberg's made a lot of dope movies since The Fly. Goldblum, get in on some of those. You could have been in Map to the Stars. That movie's weird as shit.
I love it. I love Jeff Goldblum.
Could have been in Crimes of the Future.
No, only as Seth Brundle's brother. And then, Typhoon the Baboon.
Okay.
The baboon in the movie. He was rambunctious, as most bamboos are, and he had to be kept in check by Jeff Goldblum because Goldblum was so much bigger and muscular. He was 6'4", that only the Wrangler and Goldblum could keep him in check essentially, and make sure he didn't go around wreaking havoc. And then my final fun fact. Well, it's not really. It's a game. Okay. So there were few cutscenes from the movies. I've written down 3.
Mostly because of they had to cut him down to get out of the X rating, right? To get it down
that
to an R.
and focus group or at showings and screenings, they did not perform.
So
well.
I think I know at least one of these. One of them involves a cat, right?
Monkey cat. Do you know what happens?
Monkey cat. Yes, I do. I've seen this scene.
Oh god.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Oh, it sounds terrifying. I didn't look it up.
It's gross as shit.
Yeah. Insect limb. Where essentially he's just scaling a wall, little insect limb comes out, and then butterfly baby.
I don't know that one.
If you had to guess, what do you think butterfly baby would be?
Does a baby get fused with a butterfly?
No.
Okay, what's happening?
It's so an alternate ending was Gina Davis giving birth to a baby, and it was born with beautiful butterfly wings.
That's very David Cronenberg. That's so David Cronenberg.
So those are three cutscenes that I kept reading about a ton. They were all over the IMDb trivia page.
That one must have gotten cut in the writing. There's no way they filmed that.
I don't think they did. No. But yeah, apparently Gina Davis in the sequel, or Gina Davis's character.
Yeah, because Gina Davis did not come back for the movie.
No, because she was only in like one scene because she died in childbirth. And like Gina Davis was like, oh, there's no character development. I ain't doing that. So that's why she didn't come back. But sorry, spoilers. She dies in the sequel. First scene.
Now I'm definitely watching it.
I'm so sorry. Those are my facts and figures. This was a movie. I wanna preface this.
Okay. So
you go first.
Before we actually get into this,
Okay.
I have something that's adjacent to facts and figures, which is that the original 1958, The Fly,
Yes.
extremely different.
Really?
Extremely different.
Go on.
It's not a lot about The Fly. It's mostly about his wife. Like it's like sort of like a detective story.
Ooh.
Like the movie starts with she has killed her husband, and he's all deformed, like he's been like killed with like a big old like what do you call them? But those things that they crush like fruit with on YouTube. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, hydraulic press?
Yeah, like
Ooh.
he's had his like head crushed in a hydraulic press and stuff. And he's got like a fly head and a fly arm. And then like so she's like freaking out about, she's like constant, like anytime there's a fly in the room she's trying to catch it and stuff, and the detective's trying to like figure out what happened. And then you get to the end of the movie and it like you see there's like a spider web and there's a fly caught in it, and it's the guy's head on the fly.
No.
And he's going like, help me. like literally it sounds like that. Like that is the voice that they're doing for it. And then like they just crush him with a rock.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that movie is actually like kind of slaps. Like it might be better than this movie.
Well,
Because I remember really liking this movie the first time I saw it, and like watching it this time, it's still good, but it's hasn't held up very well.
Vincent Price was in the original, wasn't he? Isn't he the dude?
Yes, is that right?
I don't know.
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
Yes, he is.
He was the thing in the Thriller. He's the voice. In
He
the
is
Thriller.
not the Fly.
Oh, he's not the Fly. Oh,
He's not the Fly. I believe he plays the detective.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Got it. Interesting. Yeah. I only know him from the voice of the Thriller. In Thriller, not the.
He's in so many.
Yeah. Dude's done a lot.
Yeah.
I should probably watch more of those, but okay. Before I want to preface my next statement.
Okay.
Brandon, I respect you. I will support you in anything that you do. I hate you, though. I hate you so much for this.
You didn't like the movie, huh?
No. I don't turn off a lot of movies. And I did turn this movie off. I almost did, though.
It's gross.
It's disgusting.
It's real gross.
I wasn't because I remember talking about this like a few times before we were going to do this. And all I remember you saying about it was that it was weird. And boy, was that an understatement.
Yeah. Yeah.
The my boy. Like, Jeff Gold, he didn't deserve that.
Well, he's kind of a shithead in this movie.
Oh, well, yeah. But
yeah, no, like, and what's crazy is I didn't remember like watching it. It's really long until like he's like turns into Brundlefly.
34:11. That's when Fly happens.
Okay, now when did you decide that Fly happens? Because I was thinking about this now, because I thought that you would clock it in as when he closes the thing and you see the fly on the window.
I think
yeah,
that's when I did it. I didn't do it when he.
Yeah, because like even after that, it's a while until like he really starts getting like he spends a lot of the movie with just like he's got like acne basically.
Yeah.
But then like once he starts turning into the Fly, boy does he turn into a fly.
I read it was like the time period was like 4 weeks, which is like no, bro. I don't. No. God bless Gina Davis. She tried. She really tried. But do you think what do you think her child would have, if she kept the child? Because we don't know the fate of what happens.
Well,
to her and the baby.
Okay, so this is one of the things where I don't get why there is a sequel, because the movie seems to make it pretty clear. She is not keeping that baby.
Oh, no.
One of the big points about this, like the climax of this movie, is Seth Brundle being like, I need you to keep the baby. I don't care what happens, just keep the baby. And she's like, fuck no. I believe she says she will rip it out of herself if she has to.
Yeah.
So yeah, she is not keeping that baby.
If they would have gone through to create the ultimate family, what would that have looked like, do you think?
I assume he would look like the Brundlefly's like final form. Maybe. Yeah, it would like have to be, right? Because like he is half human, half fly.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So.
It just I gagged so many times.
Yeah.
It was I almost threw up whenever
See, so you're not familiar with David Cronenberg.
No, I'm not.
This is far from the most Cronenberg goes.
Oh,
God. His fucking Videodrome is wild. His movies are, especially go watch like Crimes of the Future, which came out like this year. Gross. Very gross. It is a genre of horror that's referred to as body horror. Mm-hmm. Which is like, the tapping into it, it's a sort of fear that you don't really think about very often, but is very visceral to you, of like your body changing or like suddenly being very different in a way that is like deeply uncomfortable.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Okay. And it is something that like speaks to me very much. I get a little bit like I get weirded out when like when I'm sick. Mm-hmm. When I get sick, I will like there will be this thought in my head of like, what if I'm just sick forever now? What if I'm going to be sick for the rest of my life? This is what normal is now for the rest of my life, and I'm never going to not be sick again.
Oh no.
That is sort of the horror that body horror like dips into. It's just like, oh yeah, like you're a fly now.
No. Fuck that. I didn't think about what this movie could be. You almost got a very angry message from me.
Oh, really?
About um, Jeff Goldblum being an actual fly. I didn't know what it was, but I didn't realize he was going to be a human fly. I thought, if anything, he was going to turn into a tiny fly, not human-sized fly. I should have watched this movie at night.
This is interesting because we're not that far apart in age, really. We're like, what, 6 years?
Something like that, yeah.
It's not that, like, you're about the same age as my little brother or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I forget sometimes that I grew up older than I am.
Mm-hmm.
I hung out with a lot of, like, when I was in high school, I had a bunch of friends who were already, like, in their, like, mid-20s and stuff. I hung out with a bunch of older people and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'm essentially, even though I am of, like, the generation of whatever fucking Zoomers or whatever the fuck they call us, I am essentially like a middle of the pack millennial in terms of, like, I grew up watching old episodes of The Simpsons, Seinfeld. I was basically, though most of the 90s I was not conscious, I'm basically from the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So I forget sometimes that, like, you don't know what The Fly is.
No!
Because to me it seems like just colloquially, because I only watched this movie for the first time probably when I was about your age, probably like right when I turned like 21 or so. Mm-hmm. But I had known what The Fly was because, you know, it had been like, there's jokes about it on The Simpsons. Like, it's like, knowing what The Fly was just a thing that you did. Yeah, Jeff Goldblum, he turned into a fly. Mm-hmm. So, like, I forget that, like, you don't know what The Fly is.
Man, when I saw that there were hairs growing out of, like, the scratch on his back, I'm like, no, this is not about to happen.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be good. I remember, I think it was on TV once, and I remember, within, like, the past year or so, I remember flipping to it, and it was, like, the scene when he was in the bathroom for, like, not towards the end of the movie, but, like, when he, like, takes his fingernail off the first time.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't get to that specific part. I just remember him in the bathroom looking in the mirror. And I was like, oh, I didn't see the beginning, so I'm not going to keep watching it because I don't know what happens, although it is Jeff Goldblum. But I also think Jeopardy was about to come on. But I do, it was like, I was hit with that deja vu. And it was like, now knowing what that scene was about to be, I'm like, oh, thank God I didn't watch that. I would have passed out, I think. Like, that would not, because, like, I've had, like, not fingernails, I've had, like, toenails come off, and it's like, it's not a good feeling.
Oh, yeah, no, it's bad.
It's so bad, especially when it's not, like, no.
Yeah.
No.
It's, again, it's Cronenberg. Cronenberg is so good at, like, knowing those little things that are like, just like, oh yeah, this is gonna fuck you up.
Yeah, it did. Like, I can, just talking about it, like, I can feel it in, like, oh, I hate it. I hate it. And then the ear, and then she takes the ear off accidentally, and then he stores it in his medicine cabinet. It's like a trophy room. And then he's like, you want to see what else is in the medicine cabinet? No, run away, Gina Davis, for the love of God. Also, I didn't realize the Be Afraid, Be Very Afraid originated.
I was just that struck me too.
Yeah,
I didn't know that this was the movie that came from.
Because that's associated with everything now.
Yeah, because it's just commonly, it's so quoted that, like, yeah, like, I had never even, like, when she said it in the movie, I was like, huh, is that where this came from? Or is it like, I assumed, like, it was probably from, like, the original Fly, but no, yeah, somebody wrote that in this movie in the 80s. Like, wow.
I think it was, like, it was definitely on the poster. Oh, wait, let me finish this up. Yeah, it was, like, on the poster. I don't know if it was, like, the tagline, but it was definitely... It's
what's on the VHS box art. It's what's so it was the tagline.
Yeah.
Movie.
Have you seen the trailer for this? I watched it on IMDb. It gives everything away. Like,
yeah, that's the way trailers.
Oh, really?
Oh, well, actually, it's the way trailers are in general. Okay, so here's the thing about trailers. Yeah, a lot of people don't know this. Trailers mostly aren't for audiences. The purpose of a trailer in its like origins, and then like sort of still what it is they're actually for exhibitors.
Oh.
It's so that they can show it to theaters and be like, this is what the movie is. So you can plan how many screens it's going to be on for how long. You can buy it from us. That's what trailers are actually for. So that's why they tend to give away the entire plot of the movie, because they're not actually to like generate hype for the audience or whatever. It's to be like, hey, you're the manager at an AMC. This is what the movie is. You know, hey, it's The Fly. It's a horror movie that's coming out in August. Yeah, book it on like 2 screens for like 5 weeks or whatever. You know?
Interesting. Huh. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense now. It was cool though watching it because it was still like the definition from the 80s. So it almost looked like you were watching a VHS recording of it. It's like, oh, I feel like
because it's built those things, they're like built for tube TVs, right? So it never transitions onto an LCD screen like correctly. It always looks like shit.
It was so nostalgic though. Like it was like, oh, this is like I'm watching like freaking Charlie Brown's Christmas in the kitchen. We're watching the trailer of The Fly first. It was great. I loved it.
So now does it do like a in a world sort of thing, or does it go Seth Brundle is a scientist?
I think like, it was the latter. It was very much so like I'm like trying to think now. I don't think they got Vincent Price to do the trailer, but now I'm thinking about it, it sort of sounded like him. But it was like
Vincent Price wasn't a huge fan of this movie.
Yeah, I read. Okay, so maybe it wasn't then him.
Yeah, it probably wasn't because like he saw it in the theater and was like it was really good up until a point, and then you went way too far.
That's what I read. Yes.
Before this party's over.
It starts.
Sorry, it's over.
Yeah, but they're lost.
The imagination.
Apparently,
meet our deepest.
Oh, I missed the voiceover part. Hold on. This is good content.
Okay.
Oh my god, I'm realizing the desktop audio is playing over the recording. Never mind. I'll look for it later.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I can. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, you can give it to the audience. I won't be able to hear, but I mean, I'll just look it up on my own.
Sorry, I have 3 other interviews to do before this party's over.
Yeah, but they're not working on something that'll change the world as we know it.
They say they are.
Yeah, but they're lying.
Like, I'm really interested because I don't know what a trailer for this movie would
limit,
like.
Even to the imagination.
Human.
There is a limit.
Like, you got to imagine, like, the marketing department got this movie and was like, oh, man, this is... How are we going to sell this?
Yeah, it starts off with, like, there's a limit
to
what the humans can do. It's very much so sort of like Jurassic Park, where it's like, they didn't stop to think if they could. Or whatever. No, I just...
Those types of trailers used to fucking get me because like watching my VH copy of Jurassic Park or whatever. I think that there was an ad for Congo on there. One of the VHSs I had an ad for the movie Congo, and that trailer would scare the shit out of me. I didn't even know what Congo was about because like the trailer actually didn't show much. It was like shots of the jungle and then like this like because like the movie is actually about like apes or whatever, and it would be like these apes like like this, like you could hear like charging at something and stuff. Like that trailer scared the shit out of me. Yeah, and then there is a limit to what the human mind is capable of.
Science fiction movies, I suppose.
This movie starts off so fucking weird.
It does.
It starts off with like a non sequitur of just like he's at a party. He's like, what am I working on? Like, just like...
like classic Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, it's like, that's not how you start a movie. You start a movie mid-conversation at a party. We don't know who either of these characters are.
No.
And then we see the worst first date of all time. Oh,
100%. Well, we did get piano Jeff Goldblum at least, so you know, he's got that going for him, I guess.
Yeah, it's so weird because he's like so awkward when he's talking to her at the party, trying to convince her to come back to his lab. She does, which Gina Davis, come on, bad move.
Bad move.
And then he walks in and just immediately starts playing the fucking piano. What's going on?
Gotta get her somehow, you know? I liked how he was appalled that she was gonna do a story on everything.
So why did you bring her there?
She's a journalist!
You know she's a journalist.
What did you expect?
You met her presumably at a party, and you're mid-conversation, so we don't know how it starts, but she knows you're a scientist. You're talking about what she's working on, assuming like you walked up to her as like, hi, I'm Seth Brundle. Who are you? Oh, yeah, what do you do? Oh, you're a journalist? Oh, you're a tech journalist. Well, I'm a scientist. I'm working on a piece of tech. Oh, what am I working on? That's presumably how that conversation started.
And then he's like, you're going to do a story on it? It's like, no shit. Like, of course
Also, from the point of view of Gina Davis, what are you going to fucking write about? He's not participating in the. You're just gonna be like, look, I was at a party and then I went to this guy's place late at night and he showed me a fucking teleporting machine. Okay, I wrote a whole story for a magazine article about the time I went to a guy's apartment and he showed me a teleporting. That's not journalism, Gina Davis.
No. I can guarantee you, no one will believe that. Just like the ex-boyfriend didn't believe her until
The ex-boyfriend is a baffling fucking character.
Why?
Because he's awful through the entire movie, and then apparently at the end he's like the hero.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, a big red flag. Showering in her apartment.
Yeah, he
after
just
they broke
shows up
up.
in his shower in an apartment. I do like that he gets his arm melted off. That was nice.
I will say that was one of the parts I was gagging at. So,
yeah, that comes out of fucking nowhere, huh?
yeah. Just the whole like disintegrating acid in general made me
love it.
That made me gag.
The videotape of him like explaining that he can't eat anymore or whatever.
Gotta teach the children. But like whenever he does it for the first time, that threw me off so bad. I wasn't expecting it. I was like, how do flies? Oh no! Like I never thought about how a fly ate before.
Makenna, how do you feel about the phrase "the flesh"?
Stop.
Because they say "the flesh" so many times in this movie.
I hate it.
Like he just starts. The machine, it doesn't understand the flesh. It doesn't get the flesh. I need it to be. It's not crazy for the flesh. I need to program the machine to be crazy for the flesh.
Get it.
This is a David Cronenberg thing. David Cronenberg is the only person who uses the phrase "the flesh."
The flesh.
And I have a quote pulled up here that I just want to read aloud because it's fucking. It's so. The things that he says. Okay. You're afraid to dive into the plasma pool, aren't you? You're afraid to be destroyed and recreated, aren't you? I bet you think that you woke me up about the flesh, don't you? But you only know society's straight line about the flesh. You can't penetrate beyond society's sick gray fear of the flesh. Drink deep or taste not the plasma spring. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not just talking about sex and penetration. I'm talking about penetration beyond the veil of the flesh. A deep penetrating dive into the plasma pool.
I think he fucking quotes Jonathan Swift in the middle of that. Jesus Christ.
Jonathan Swift? What?
Yeah, that's from I think that's the oh, that was bad. I need going on the IMDb page. I think the one
guy who wrote A Modest Proposal?
Yeah. Wait, hold on. Let me find it. Alexander Pope. Wrong writer.
Okay.
An essay on criticism. His quote is a little learning is a dangerous thing. Drink deep or taste not the Pierian spring. And he's just casually breaking out Pope in the middle of this. Like,
the plasma spring, Makenna.
I'm sorry.
That's that
God
line.
forbid.
Somebody sat down and wrote that out. What does that mean? It's
It doesn't.
What does it mean?
No, I've got no idea. That's like something you give to like a junior English class and be like, figure it out. Like, that, interpret it.
Society's sick gray fear of the flesh. A deep penetrating dive into the plasma pool. It's fucking wild.
He just like, casually like breaks out like a philosophical quote. It was just like, okay, bro. Great. I will say Jeff Goldblum's fucking jacked.
Yeah.
Bro.
He's crushing this movie. Like, I can't really think of another actor who would be able to like nail what he's doing in this movie. Of going from like one extremely awkward in the beginning of the movie to being like cool guy, cocky scientist in the middle of the movie, and then just a fucking monster by the end of it. But actually, like, weird because like once he's like become the Fly, he's like occasionally like Brundle's like consciousness will take over. There's another quote I had. Fine. This one is actually much better writing than talking about you probably think you turned me on to the flesh, don't you?
Oh my god.
You have to leave now and never come back. Have you ever heard of insect politics? Neither have I. Insects don't have politics. They're very brutal. No compassion. No compromise. We can't trust insects. I'd like to become the first insect politician. You see, I'd like to, but I'm afraid I'll hurt you if you stay.
The classic Jeff Goldblum. I want to
like that's like those bits at the end where he's like, oh yeah, like I'm here for a little bit, but the Fly is taking over. And so you need to leave.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing like the back and forth between like which part of his conscience takes over.
Yeah, or like when he's like asking her to keep the baby, and she does the line that we talked about earlier, where she's like, I'll rip it out of me if I have to, and then he's just like, that's a shame. That's a shame.
When he crashes through that window, which looks like a Wendy's, but that's besides the point. I screamed because I just wasn't like, I knew something must have been coming, but he looked like a gorilla just going through a fleshy gorilla, just going through a window, and then he takes her like King Kong. And then she's like up in the rafters. How did she get down? Wait. Because she was like up above. And then she was in the teleport. Wait. I'm probably like completely blacking out in my memory of what happened between then and A and B.
I also don't totally remember.
I don't know. Maybe she just jumped down. Maybe she's just good jumper.
I like that he's like addicted to teleporting for a little bit in this movie. Like he because he for a while he thinks that like the reason he's stronger, the reason he feels better is because he went through the teleporter and it recombined him, so
pure.
that he's like fresh and new or whatever. And he's like a dude at a party who just like did a bunch of coke and is like, no, it's the best. Do you want to go do some coke? Like, we got coke in the back, bro. You got to go try the coke. It's so good. It's like pure.
You're absolutely right. That poor woman from the bar. She should have never left. She should have gone with him. She watched him break the dude's, give him what, like a compound fracture or whatever it is, whenever the bone breaks from the, and then she's like, okay, sure. Like, no.
Yeah, like she starts off and it's like she's not into him, and then he breaks a guy's arm, and then she's just like down.
Yeah, that's bizarre. No, don't.
Yeah, the women characters are not written super well in this movie.
Not really. But they didn't get teleported, so go women.
But I mean, yeah, to be fair, we just read some quotes. Nobody's really well written in this movie.
What?
90% of Jeff Goldblum's lines are talking about the flesh.
Why? What?
The movie really doesn't understand how computers work.
No.
Yeah, he's like the solution to the problem that he's having. We never know what it is. Like, there's not like, oh, I need like a new thing. Like, I need to put something in the teleporter that's going to fix it. Like, he doesn't discover anything. It's just he cooks a steak and talks about, I need to teach the computer how to be crazy about the flesh. It needs to crave the flesh. And then like 5 minutes later, he has fixed the computer.
Yeah. And then he teleports without adult supervision. The bizarre.
He also like doesn't. It's never occurred to him that like, hey, you shouldn't like put thing like you should like isolate the chambers.
Just a bit, maybe. It reminded me sort of like with the computer stuff of like war games where it's like it's typing shit.
Where like he's like having a conversation with the computer.
Yeah, exactly. At some point he's just gonna play tic-tac-toe with war. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's maybe Broderick's gonna show up. It's okay. Also, I got a bone to pick. Well, I got a bone to pick.
Okay.
With the typing stuff. Towards the end, when he's still able to type, I can't remember exactly what he was typing about, but he only had like 3 fingers, but he could still type perfectly well. Bullshit. Listen, I got tiny baby hands, and I would mess up playing piano and hit the keys at 2 keys at one time. There's no way in hell that dude is able to do those tiny little keyboard keys with 3 giant insect fly fingers. Bullshit.
I mean, it is like a big 80s mechanical keyboard. And I'm just gonna be honest, like I don't know how to type Makenna. I use like 4 fingers to type. Yeah, I don't got the typing thing down.
Did you not have to take typing in school?
No, not really. We had like a computer class or anything, but there wasn't a big focus on it. And that was literally like 1 year. And it was mostly about just like teaching us how to like, because like the internet was still fairly like new. It was like teaching us like, hey, here's what search engines are. Here's how to look up stuff. Yeah, like we learned like the like how to like refine a Google search,
Oh yes, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like
I mean,
those were what we learned in computer class.
Do you have kid pics? That I think is a 90s thing that we still had.
Kid pics.
It was like sort of like paint.net but it was way cooler, and it had like different things you could do.
No.
Oh, you missed out, doggy dog. It was great. When it was kid pics day in computer class, it usually was like right before a holiday. Kids went wild. It was a great day. But we had to do every year, I remember, from like, I think, because I went to Catholic school, so K through 8 were all in the same building. And from like 3rd through 8th grade, we had at least like a trimester or 2 where we had to do typing. It was awful because they wanted you to do it a specific way, but I had been using computers my whole life.
Home row and all that bullshit.
Home row, stupid. It's like, I don't want to use like...
Okay, well, so now here's my... Did you guys have Mavis Beacon teaches typing?
No.
Okay, so this might be for the old heads here. If Joe Mertens knows what Mavis Beacon teaches typing is. It was a series of games that were like typing challenges. Oh. That would be like essentially like literal like games that you would play that were like typing was the way you would move through the game. Like my mom, obviously grew up, never had a computer. I come from a very poor background and stuff. My parents are doing well off now. We were really poor when I was a kid. So like she didn't get a computer until like she was in her like mid to late 20s,
Mhm.
and she got a job working at a place with computers and stuff. You need to learn how to type. And she got this game, and she did that forever. She's incredible typer now. Like she fucking crushes it. So it works. This shit works. But me and my brothers would play it because the games were actually like legit fun. Like it was a good game.
We would have something similar. It wasn't. I looked it up. It was very similar. Where it was like a program, and like the way you progressed was like you had to do certain games. You had to get like a certain percentage, and like the further along, like the more keys you added as you went along with it. But I do remember there was one specific program because it was like because I was like one of the first like few grades to do typing, so it was we were very much trial and error about what programs to use. So we used like 3 or 4 different programs throughout my year or my time in school. But there was one that was like from the BBC, and that one was hype because there were songs. And let me tell you, my sister and I still sing these songs. It's dance mat typing. It was great. It was a good time. And then there was the other program with like.
I'm just learning that Mavis Beacon is not a real person.
Isn't that woman on the box? Is that not Ms. Beacon?
No, Mavis Beacon is a fictional character.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that Mavis Beacon debuted as simply a photo of a model on the software's packaging in 1987.
That's amazing.
Like, honestly, more impressive because Mavis Beacon is black. So, like, in 1987, they were like, who should be the face of this computer typing franchise? And they picked a black woman. Wow.
Hell yeah. Look at that. Hell yeah, women. Let's go.
Hell yeah, women. Hashtag yes, all women.
Yeah. Yes, all women. I agree. Yeah. But we had like the thing that sucked about typing. I'm going to go on about this damn typing class. Was we had like these orange covers for the keyboard so we couldn't look. And they were terrible because they didn't fit the keyboard. And so they would fall off or like they would hit other keys and they were awful. And then we would just want to use like a piece of paper to cover the keyboards instead because then we could actually, it was awful. And plus, I mean, I'm going to look at my hands when I type now. No one's going to stop me from looking at my hands if I'm typing.
Yeah. It's not like if you get a job typing, they're walking around and be like, you looking at that goddamn keyboard?
Exactly.
It is helpful because like you can like, I assume that like typing, there was probably like a lot of transcribing early on and stuff. And so they wanted you to learn to like read a thing and type it at the same time for efficiency's sake. But also like, do you know like keyboards were intentionally designed to be really obtuse?
Really?
Yeah, the QWERTY keyboard was designed so that they could sell lessons for how to type on the QWERTY keyboard.
Interesting. Huh. I like the QWERTY keyboard. I think it's all right.
I don't love it. There are better layouts out there, more efficient ones.
Right.
Because yeah, like actually like a lot of the most used letters when you're typing are like in hard to reach positions.
Oh, of course.
It's not great.
Damn.
But it works. It gets the job done. It's the standard.
It's got all 26 letters. That's all I need. 26, right? 26 letters? Did you know in the UK they have different keyboards like
They've got 27 letters.
They got 27. Oi. It's like the symbols on the number pad at the top they're different. So like the @ symbol, I think it's somewhere on the right. I can't remember where. Let me tell you what. Let me tell you how many damn times when I had to type in my email when I was in London, working on a London keyboard, that I was typing like the pound symbol instead of the @ and I'm like, why isn't my email going through? No, it's because freaking @ signs on the other. Does the @ sign have an actual name? Because like the & sign has ampersand.
I think it does. I think @ sign. No.
It's like you got the pound sign. The ampersand.
Commercial address sign.
Address sign. Was that made specifically for email addresses?
There's a commercial @ is the specific.
Interesting.
No, it was not. It was used as an accounting and invoice abbreviation, meaning at a rate of.
Huh. Interesting. It's a good little key.
Yeah.
I like it. I like writing it. It's a good time. Whenever you write an ampersand, I promise we'll go back to the fly in a second.
Trying to physically write an ampersand, forget about it.
No, absolutely, yeah, no. I had a few friends who would write it out every time, and anytime I would try to look, it would just look like a cursive S, and it's like,
don't even get me started on the cursive Z. Like, what are we fucking doing?
Oh, this is interesting. How did you? Well, first off, did you have to take cursive in school? Like, did you have like a unit? Okay, we did too.
It was like 2 or 3 years of school was like hardly focused on learning to write cursive.
Really? We
From
had
like second grade, they would teach you the cursive alphabet.
Yeah, that's how we were.
That's what you would focus on, and then third grade, you would start like doing like once a week or so, like doing writing assignments in cursive. And then like from then on, it was expected like, hey, we're doing a thing, like you got to write it in cursive.
Yep.
And I was like, fuck no, I'm not.
That's how
I cannot write in cursive. I can't do it.
That's how we were. So second grade that's when we learned it. And then third grade through fifth grade, everything was done in cursive. Like no matter what, your notes, assignments, tests, everything was cursive. And then there was like, I'm trying to think, in middle school, there were a few teachers that required it on tests, but not everyone. And then high school, they didn't give a shit. That high school is when I had to change my handwriting in high school. But every once in a while, I'll revert back to cursive just for fun. And then I realize, oh no, this is dumb and I can't really read it.
Our teachers, for the most part, gave up on cursive.
Mm-hmm.
There were a couple who were like, no, you guys like would insist like, hey, you should be using cursive, but
Right.
they would accept printed, stuff. But also like most of the time we were typing anyway, so it didn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like we would turn like essays had to be typed out. We weren't like, writing them out. But
yeah.
like it's totally useless now.
Yeah.
Like the premise of like cursive was it was built around like quills, right? Like there were writing utensils that it was easier if you didn't have to press down on the page in between letters.
I think that would make sense. How did you learn to do the Q in capital Q in cursive?
I didn't. I never really learned how to do cursive. Well, okay, so first of all, I'm a terrible student, okay? I am awful at learning things in like a regimented environment.
Mm-hmm.
Like you know me, I'm a pretty knowledgeable guy, right?
You are, yes, one of the smartest people.
Everything I know is through reading on my own time.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't learn shit in school. Not a goddamn thing. I love learning. I do it constantly. I'm constantly reading, watching documentaries, video essays, all this stuff. I am extremely good at learning on my own damn time. If you send me into a classroom, I will not learn a single thing.
I'm the exact opposite. Which is why graduating scares me so much, is because I freaking love just being in a classroom and having that designated time to learn about like a specific thing. Which is like I'm picking classes next week and I'm trying to figure out what elective I should just take for fun. Because like do I take a history class? Because like then it's like, oh, like twice a week I get to do 3 hours on a specific period of history, just take all the notes in the world. That makes me sucks. I love taking notes.
I hate it.
That's why I have a physical notebook. Oh, this is falling apart.
And that's why I dropped out of college.
That's fair. That's fair.
Did 1.5 semesters and was like, this is optional.
Big fan of the classroom. But the reason I asked the Q thing is apparently there was like a change. Originally, like you write it more like a 2, and then like at some point it shifted to look more like an actual like uppercase Q. And that's what I learned the latter one in second grade. But like, trying to think where it would start. Like my my aunts and uncles do like a 2. But I don't know how my cousins write it.
Okay, so I feel like I remember doing both.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I feel like when I first learned it in 2nd grade, yeah, it was like a 2.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah, so it must have been sometime in the 90s, and I guess it shifted, or the early 2000s. Wait, when was I in 2nd grade? Yeah, sometime in the early 2000s. Yeah, 2000. Yeah, because that's math. I know math. Yeah, cursive is dumb. Oh, I found a flaw in my handwriting.
What do you mean?
Let me show you. So yesterday, I started my World Cup, like physical. I do my physical chart, you know.
Yeah.
And I started yesterday. I don't have like my good pens here, so like I just had to write down everything and then I'll make it color coded. But the German coach, his name's Hansi Flick. But my handwriting sort of merges. Oh crap! Wait, where is it? Hold on. It looks like I wrote Hansi fuck. Because it merged the... Oh, I can't... Focus, it merged the L and the I.
No, I can see it enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I write in all uppercase, and I was in the zone, and then I looked back at it, and I was like, shit. It just looks like I wrote his last name as fuck. It's not. It's Flick. He's probably a good guy. I think he's the German team, so... But, so, I'm sorry, Mr. Flick.
I still get my my B's and D's backwards.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if I do not like make an effort when writing a thing to like put it in my mind, which one, there's like a 50% chance I just get it wrong.
This goes backwards. Oh.
Yeah, I'm bad at like physically writing.
Do you mix up your P's and Q's?
No.
I guess Q's you probably don't write as much.
It's just lowercase B's and D's.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I write in all caps. So, but there's like N and M's, especially with my name, I will just accidentally keep going. And it's like, oh well, put too many N's at the end of my name. But it's other than that, well, because I do lowercase E's. And they sometimes merge. My U's look like N's. It's a whole thing. But luckily, all of my college assignments, I turn in online, so it doesn't really matter. But it matters in my heart. So The Fly.
Right. You're doing a podcast.
You know, people have said they like when we talk. So
they have. People have requested a podcast where we just talk about not movies.
This page is about to fall out. Oh, okay. I need to fix that after this. Yeah. You know? If it's popular. We already got a name.
I did leak this out on stream the other day.
Did you really?
I did.
Oh.
To Johnny and Kate. Yeah, I guess we should do it here to let the people know. There is potential of Makenna and I doing a non-movie related podcast known as Maximum Ruckus.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna... Everyone will be able to spell it.
Yep. So yeah, if that's the thing you want, if the thing that you've listened to HBO Max and gone like, you know, I wish they didn't talk about movies so much. Like, one, we told you this was a movie podcast. I don't know why you tuned in if you didn't want to hear us talk about movies. But if you just want to hear the other stuff, tell us to make Maximum Ruckus. I don't know. Patreon? Should we put that on a Patreon or something?
BoneCon. We should. BoneCon. Then we officially have BoneCon. And then that'll fund tosses.
Sure.
We're doing
You're gonna expect the company to subscribe to our Patreon?
No. We can fund a trip for you to come to Hosses. Then we can have Tony's
There
house.
is, I mean, people don't know that there is usually at least 1 hour before the podcast and 1 to 2 hours after the podcast that does not get recorded. So,
it is.
you want to know what happens there?
Ooh.
Maximum Ruckus.
Let
Tweet
us
it.
know.
Hashtag Maximum Ruckus.
Hashtag maximum. You figure out the spelling.
Yeah, spell it the way you think it should be spelled.
We'll
It's like
take it.
tag us in it so we know how it's supposed to be spelled.
Yeah. I don't know how to spell. Well, I gotta figure out where I was in my notes.
Oh, geez. You got notes.
Well, I mean, most of them are just like me being excited about Jeff Goldblum. So it just is piano Jeff Goldblum, gymnast Jeff Goldblum, Goldblum butt, Jeff Goldblum's jacked. Yeah, It's a lot about Jeff Goldblum. And then, shockingly, it's very little after he transforms into the Fly that I stopped taking notes on Goldblum. And then that's just where I cry. I mean, like you said earlier, props to makeup for this.
Yeah,
they were very
man,
good.
they did what a great job of coming up the effects for.
Terrifying, very good.
Really convincing looking.
Yeah, every time, whenever I was looking up, wow, I forgot my words. Facts and figures for this. They had like all of the like all 8 of the transformations. And it was like, it was as terrifying as it was to look at. It was cool to see like the progression like right in front of you rather than over an hour and a half. Cuz
and that doesn't even include when he gets combined with the machine. Which is just a wild fucking turn that this movie takes at the end, is that he combines with the fucking machine.
You know, it's a way to end the movie.
And there's a there's a name for it when he turns into the machine too. It's not Brundlefly, it's something else.
Oh god, is there really? Oh, no.
Yeah. You talk. I'm gonna try to figure out what the name of the machine version of him is.
Okay, so a question I had about this was how did he get 2 whole baboons? Cause dude just pulls them out like he had them in his back pocket.
The crew called the Brundlefly Telepod Fusion Brundle Booth.
That's cute. I'll give him that. It's an alliteration. Not the physical thing. The name's cute. Brundle Booth. I like that. It makes you not think of the bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It just threw me in for a loop so much. Like I just wasn't expecting.
When his head does like the fucking
No! Why? It just like you didn't think it could get any worse, and then it does.
Yeah.
Like I'm really curious to know like the brain aspect of it. Like, does Brundle still exist somewhere in that fly? Like, even just a little bit. But, like, is there somewhere he's trapped?
At that point, I don't think so, because there's those points where he's jumping back and forth, and he doesn't give the impression like he's becoming like trapped inside of the fly. It's like flipping a switch.
Interesting. Very interesting. And then, do you think the shotgun, assuming like when the shotgun bit happens at the end and they're gonna shoot him before he gets his like hand and foot dissolved, do you think that shotgun would have killed him?
Yeah. Hey, you shoot a fly with a shotgun. It's gonna fucking,
Well,
fucking die. Yeah, if you blow his head off, yeah, he's gonna die.
Oh well, yeah, the head. That's true.
Yeah.
I was thinking more on like. Now I haven't seen Halloween, so like, this is all from my interpretation of the trailers and then just scaring myself shitless every time.
Yeah.
But like, Michael Myers doesn't die, and I'm assuming he's shot at least.
Yeah.
Few
Okay.
times
So
through the
Halloween is like the Halloween sequels are mostly bullshit.
Okay.
Is the thing.
Got it.
He is like essentially somewhat magic to an extent, but most of the this is great. Most of the Halloween movies tend to end with like they kill Michael Myers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the next one will start with the reveal of like, actually, the person that they killed wasn't Michael Myers.
No.
Michael Myers, like a ninja, stealthily removed his mask and attacked a security guard and put it on his head, and the person that they shot was the security guard. Or like Halloween, is it Halloween 2 or Halloween 4? Starts with like they get Michael Myers like at the end of the previous movie, like they get like Michael's Myers in a ditch, and a bunch of cops like unload on him, and they throw like dynamite down there and blow it up. And then the next movie starts with like a Michael Myers action sequence of him like running out this thing and shooting out of the fucking like pipe. Yeah, the Halloween movies fucking suck.
It doesn't. Yeah, like I like the soundtrack though. Is it John
Halloween
Carpenter?
3's dope though. No Michael Myers in that one.
No, wait, what?
It's about like robots and these like Halloween masks that they put on people, and it like controls their brains or whatever.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
My one of my friends from high school, he goes to school for video production, and he just did a Michael Myers short film. I jumped a few times.
Austin Powers related?
Austin, yeah, exactly. Precisely. And it was that thing of like, and which is why it got me thinking of like the gun thing. It was like, oh, they shot him, he died, and then he actually came back and then killed everybody. Which is what I imagined in my head if they did that to The Fly. They shoot him, but he don't die.
No, he would die.
Immortal fly, strongest fly in the world. Do you think he would have had like? Now, I haven't seen many flies up close before, but like I think they have like the sucker thingy, to like slurp.
Yeah.
Do you think he would have eventually got one of those?
He kind of does at the end. He's got like the weird mouth thing, right?
Yeah.
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 I do think that like at the end, that's like the final.
Mm-hmm. And you think he got wings?
No, because he's not pure fly. He's not pure fly.
That
He's
is
fly man. He's man who is fly.
Yeah. Of course.
Or what does he say? He's an insect who dreamt he was a man and loved it.
I wish it would have done that thing in that one SpongeBob episode where it was the thing where it like did the percentage of like what was it? It was like 100% kelp, or like plankton was like 99% whatever, 1% loser or whatever. I want to see that, like how much of Brundlefly is fly and how much is human. Like I want to know the percentage breakdown.
Is that SpongeBob thing? Do you think that's a reference to The Fly? Because he has that scene where he talks to the computer, right? And he's like, what happened to Fly? And like, where did Fly go? And the computer's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, oh no, we combined. Yeah, the Brundle and the Fly, we put them together.
Oh my god.
Fusion. Yeah, he's like 50% man, 50% fly.
Oh my god. Math. Science.
Because that's what it is. Like it's like the combined elements of both of them just got like put together because the computer can't tell the difference.
Okay. This is my last question.
Okay.
Maybe for now. How did it even happen? Like, was the fly, like, why was there a window that just so happened that if something was there, it would fuse? Why did it happen?
The fly is inside the pod.
Oh, it's inside. Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I missed that part. I just saw the fly in the window. I just thought it was inside.
Yeah, he gets in, and a fly goes in with.
Damn fly. It gets you every time.
Yeah, you don't just do science experiments in your apartment. That's not a good idea.
Shit. Okay, well, there goes my weekend.
Shit will get contaminated.
No science. I've always wanted to do science? Like, chemistry. Like, I want to spend a day where I'm in a lab coat and I got goggles and I got a chemistry set. And make things happen. I don't want to major in it. I could have done that, but I didn't because I'm not good at science. I don't
do a volcano.
Yeah, I never got to do. I really want to do a volcano. An elephant toothpaste. I want to do that.
I don't know what that is.
It's this thing where you combine two things and like two liquid things and it shoots up and then it like turns into a solid. It's awesome. Okay. We had STEM days in school and they would always do that. It always got the kids rowdy. It was great. It was a good time. But yeah, someday I'm going to buy a chemistry set. I'm just going to have a chemistry day. One day.
Yeah.
That's my
Mentos, Diet Coke,
I've
whatever you
always
want
wanted to do that too. Yeah. I'll go and make all the things explode.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts on the fly? Or multiple thoughts?
I've got one magic word to say to you, Makenna.
Oh, God.
Cheeseburger.
Oh, no!
What the fuck is this movie? Who wrote this goddamn movie? It's so fucking weird.
And with cheeseburger, where can people find you?
They can find me at Jose Ruckus on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. On Tuesday nights, they can find me on twitch.tv/fancontrolled. Watch Don't Cause a Ruckus, a sports debate show that doesn't just stick to sports. And it's on YouTube too. Just look up. It's also spelt weird. One thing about me that you need to know is if I'm going to do a show, it's going to be impossible to spell.
Yes. Homophones. It'd be like that.
Yeah, where can people find you, Makenna?
You can find me on the internet. Twitter.com/ at PotterPants212. Link in my bio. You can find me other places from time to time. And you can follow the show. Hear me out. Follow the show. Twitter. Spelled weird. HBO Maks. YouTube. HBO Maks.
Nope.
No.
No, we don't have our own name on YouTube.
We don't have our own name on YouTube. That's why it never comes up when I Google it and I have to go to my own YouTube page to find it. That makes more sense now.
If you subscribe and we get to 100 subscribers, it will be youtube.com/HBO Max. We need that to happen. So like, do that.
Subscribe. Exactly. And then ring the bell, comment. What should people comment this week?
They should comment whether or not they want maximum ruckus.
Yes, there we go.
And like, would you pay $5 a month for that?
Gone. You can also find us on the streaming platforms. HBO Maks, I think.
Streaming platforms? Which streaming platforms are we on?
At least 5. Spotify.
Okay.
Apple Podcasts.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It says it on Anchor.
Go to anchor.com/HBO Max, MAKS.
Anchor.fm. They don't have a .fm.
Anchor.fm/HBO Max. Go to, I think HBOMax.com is still nothing. Yep. just go to hbomax.com. Let us know what you think of that website. Maybe tell your mom about HBO Max. I don't know.
Yeah, moms love us.
Yeah. Tell a friend.
Tell a friend.
Tell an enemy.
Tell a stranger. Tell anybody.
Make them listen to this show.
It's a great show. Do it. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Castbox, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Stitcher, Spotify.
Wow, that's a lot.
I know. Look at us. We're on all the streaming platforms.
It's too many
that are on that list. I know. Yeah. Go tell people about us. Make sure you spell it.
MAKS.
MAKS.
HBO, spelled like it sounds.
HBO Max. Oh, we still have to figure out what HBO, our acronym HBO.
Oh,
means.
yeah.
We never did that. Next week.
No, we've never done that.
Oh, next month. This is the last month of this one. Or this is the last episode of this
Spooky month is done. Makenna does not have to fear watching any of these movies anymore, except for when we watch bad ones, which is going to happen.
Yay!
But yeah, Criterion month is next month. We're going to be watching The Red Shoes. We're going to be watching Armageddon for some reason. We're going to be watching Moonstruck, and we're going to be watching Dazed and Confused, a personal favorite of mine.
Yay! I haven't seen any of those. I'm excited. Woohoo! What was it? Criterion month.
Criterion Collection month.
Criterion Collection
We're
month.
exploring one of the greatest groups of films ever put together, the Criterion Collection.
Of course. And you can catch it here. HBO Max.
Yeah.
Top number 1 podcast. Number one by us.
Big podcast.
Big podcast. Yes, thank you for watching and following along, and don't become a fly.